Hey everyone, and welcome to the fan fiction competition video. So for those of you who do not know, I'm giving away a few Siege collectibles, and for one of them I want to do a fan fiction competition, including Rob in some way. So I had a bunch of you enter fan fictions, and I had Rob read them on camera for you guys to enjoy. In the description there will be a link to a straw poll where you can go vote for your favorite fanfic entry. There will be numbers on the screen in the bottom left corner to help you guys identify which fanfic is which. The winner of the straw poll will get the Jaeger collectible. The winner will be announced later this week. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and remember to vote.
Feels like I'm like about to go on like a fucking interview for like CTV News or something.
You are. This is the big leagues.
Honestly, this is probably the most exposure my face will get ever. So today we have a treat for you guys. You submitted fan fiction literature, short literature, and lucky me, I get to sit here and read the ones that Christian picked out for me. And the winner,
For those who don't know,
for those who don't know who I am from another planet. No, I'm kidding. I am Rob. I make appearances on stream clips. I've been on videos before. How many? A lot? Quite
Too
a
many
few.
to count.
Too many to count. Some of you may be sick of me by now. This might be the first time I've talked to some of you, so let's dive into this together. So first story. Rob was visiting Germany for a while, so he decided to get a job at a local pizza place in Dusseldorf. I think I just butchered that. It was March 9th when they sent him out for his first delivery. It was a cold and dark night. Rob was driving to the house when it started to rain. The car that he was driving had the tendency to leak water from the roof. He was hoping that the pizza wouldn't get wet from the rain. After driving for around 30 minutes, he reached his destination. Very descriptive of me going to get a pizza. He grabbed the pizza and then he opened the umbrella. A pizza in one hand, an umbrella in the other. He walked up to the front door and knocked with the hand that the umbrella was in. Again, very descriptive. There was silence for a moment. The rain stopped and the door opened slowly. A man in a robe appeared in front of Rob. As Rob looked, he saw he was wearing a helmet. Rob thought how odd it was for a man to be wearing a helmet with a robe. He then said, "Are you Marius?" Marius shook his head and then responded saying, "No, you can call me Jaeger." Rob was stunned by how beautiful his German accent was. It was soothing but had a fierce tone to go with it. Jaeger gave him the money, walked in, and sat on his couch. I think that's a typo, by the way. Rob walked in. Oh, never mind, I read it wrong. Rob walked in and sat on his couch. Jaeger walked over to the kitchen and gently put the pizza down on the counter. He then said, "It's my birthday today." Rob then wished him a happy birthday. Jaeger responded with, "I don't think I can eat all of this pizza by myself. Want me to help finish the box, Rob?" I know where this is going. Rob nodded and went over to the kitchen to get a slice of pizza. Jaeger then grabbed and pinned Rob against the fridge and started to kiss him passionately. Rob was stunned by what was happening. After a few brief moments, he started to kiss him back. I do not condone this. Jaeger picked him up and carried him to the bedroom, throwing him onto the bed viciously, but yet caring. He got on top of Rob and whispered into his ear, "You can stop worrying about grenades now."
Okay, that's the first one. What do you think of that one?
That was good. A little less sexual than I anticipated.
You want it more sexual? I have a bunch of those.
I was going to say, I have, you know how you have your bad side and your good side? I have two good sides when I'm sitting here.
Okay. This one is very sexual.
Sexy time. Gimme, 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 gimme. Story 2, Rob's new exercise routine. You're going to like the start of this one. One day, Chris and Rob are playing some Siege together at Chris's house. While on his toothless couch? Chris, what's that?
Toothless.
Oh, okay.
How to Train Your Dragon.
While on his toothless couch, Chris asked Rob, "Don't you have to go to the gym?" Rob immediately seizes the opportunity to do what he really came for. As Rob quickly pins down Chris's arms to show that he is the alpha male, Chris turns his head to the right and shyly says, "Rob, what are you doing?" Rob slowly lowers his mouth to Chris's ears and replies, "Don't worry, Chris. I'm just doing my new exercise routine." We're only a third of the way through this one. Rob carefully slides Chris's shirt up to reveal his flat but slightly toned stomach. Slightly toned, come on. They all see my six-pack by now. Slightly toned stomach. Rob gently caresses Chris's stomach as he starts licking his neck. Rob, stop it, Chris says, although Chris is only slightly resisting. Rob knows what he wants. Suddenly, Chris yells out, slightly in pain. I'm sorry, Chris. Did I do it too hard? Here, let me kiss it better. Rob lifts Chris's shirt even more to reveal his left nipple. Rob starts off sweetly landing kisses on and around Chris's nipple, but even Chris can tell that Rob is starting to get impatient.
It's almost done.
Rob's kisses quickly turn into sucking and licking at Chris's already moist nipples. Chris realizes now that Rob isn't playing around anymore, and he shuts his eyes, preparing for the inevitable. Suddenly, Chris hears a bang as Rob slides to the floor. Chris turns his head to see Drew, a cameo from Drew. Drew is standing there with a frying pan. With a slight tear in his eye, Chris says, Thank you, Drew. He was about to force me to... ... Drew replies, Don't thank me yet. Now I need to take my reward. As Chris notices his slutty grin, he realizes that this ordeal is not over yet. Holy fuck. What a whirlwind that one was. So story number 3 from Cole. A hostage situation. Not one to be taken lightly. Those bastard swear words? It's not really a swear word, I guess. Those bastard terrorists have taken more innocent people and held them captive. What do they want to do with them? Who knows? Perhaps they plan on slaughtering them on public television, maybe ransoming them back to their families, or maybe delivering them into a human trafficking ring. Good call. Whatever they plan to do with them, they must be stopped. So when our team was dropped off into the terrorist current base where the hostages were held, I felt a sense of pride. We are the ones who save people, who fight terror. Our heavy boot steps and the sound of gunfire was pleasant to me. Signs of us winning. We got inside the building, we found the room where the hostages were held, we killed the guards, and that's where things get interesting. The team split up. I stayed with the hostages along with Mute and Bandit. Bandit took the time to make sure that all the hostages kept quiet, which is a nice way of saying that he duct taped each of their mouths. There's no real nice way of saying that. You tried. Bandit reinforced and electrified the walls, making sure no one could get to us. Mute, why do you always tape their mouths shut? Perhaps talking to us will keep them calm, which is what we really need. This will keep them quiet, and that way none of those terrorist asswipes will come a knocking. I should have done an accent there. Fuck, next time. Why don't both of you idiots shut up? Bandit interjected gruffly. I looked over the hostages to make sure they were safe and sound, and I realized one of them was injured. Gently and swiftly, I removed the tape from his mouth. Hello there, friend. What's your name? My name is Rob. I see. I'll fix that right up. Ja? Whatever that means. I said, gesturing to the large cut on his cheek. He nodded, and I carefully went to work, wiping away the blood and using an alcohol swab to clean the cut. Rob winced at the stinging, but was otherwise fine. The bleeding had yet to stop, so I put a bandage over it and told him to apply pressure. Soon after, my attention was stolen by Bandit's swears. Fuck, someone used an EMP. The battery's out. Almost on cue, there was a banging sound, and I quickly placed down my ADS, and the wall was breached, and a grenade was thrown through the floor towards the room, my gadget taking it out. Pride coursed through me as the hostage Rob looked on in awe. I patted his head. You can stop worrying about grenades now. That's a reoccurring theme in these. There must be a...
It's almost as if it's for the Jaeger chibi.
Honestly. He looked at me and let out an anxious laugh. Gunfire ensued as the white masks attempted to charge the room. We took them out, and once again, the hostages were safe. Some of them were crying. Others looked like they were traumatized. Rob looked like the latter. That's okay. He can always get therapy. No, I can't. I crouched down by him to try to keep his attention away from the situation at hand, keep him calm. So, Rob, do you have a family? Is there a girl back home? I live with my parents still, and no, there's no girl. I nodded and smiled. Ich finde du Schub. I tried. I think it's in German.
I think it means I like you.
Ich finde dich Schub. Dish soap. We'll go with that. He looked at me confused, and I only laughed. Bandit gave me a look and shook his head. I returned Bandit's gaze with a subtle nod. He couldn't see my sly smile. I looked back at Rob. Darf You just gave me all these German thingies. Darf ich dich küssen?
I want to kiss you.
That. He gave me another confused look, laughed anxiously, and said, "What?" I couldn't help but laugh at his reaction. I love to mess with people so much. It's nothing, I said with a chuckle. We sat and waited for the all clear and then the evac, and I said my farewells to Rob. I might miss that one if I'm being honest. I hope he does well in life. He deserves it. My heart. Aw. That's for you, Cole. That's a kiss for you. That one was like an actual, like, it felt like a TV episode of something.
Yeah.
I did some research for today. I learned the names of Blackbeard and someone else too. And I think I learned, what's the guy with the face's name? Or face?
The girl with the face?
The guy with the mask. The invisible guy. Vigil.
Vigil.
His name is like, oh, I need to see it, but I know what it is. Okay. Sigh. Another day, and not a single promising Tinder match. Rob thought to himself while scooping generous amounts of whey protein into the blender. It's actually pretty accurate. He had been on Tinder for what seemed to be ages, searching ceaselessly for his one true love. Flipping the switch on the blender after the 7th scoop of powder, accurate, not even the deafening whir of the machine could drown out his growing despair that maybe he was just meant to be alone in this world. Thoroughly depressed, though not defeated, Rob poured his drink into a bottle and threw himself on the couch, absent-mindedly opening up the Tinder app for what must have been the millionth time. This person had a camera in my house or something recently. At this point, swiping left on profiles was just second nature. There was just no one out there that met his exacting standards. Taking a large gulp of his concoction, Rob looked down at the first person the app presented with. A woman named Zofia. Oh, that happens to be the name of an operator in Rainbow Six Siege. What a coincidence. Taking a large gulp... Scanning her bio, she seemed to work for an organization called GROM, whatever that is, and was 37 years old. A little old for me, Rob mused, setting aside his drink to read her description. Don't mess with me if you're going to waste my time. Loyalty and family is important to me. Recently divorced, and I have one daughter. That's enough of her, Rob exclaimed, quickly swiping left Sophia. Way too much baggage, he thought, shuddering. Who's next? Let's see. Rob said, Who's next? Let's see, Rob said, taking another sip of his shake. He regarded the next option with some interest. The picture was of a large, thick man standing shirtless with a red, rippling Soviet flag in the background. His voice was covered by a knight's helmet, and his palms turned upwards, emitting an ethereal light. There was something godlike about this man. It's a Tachanka, isn't it? Finally prying his eyes off the captivating image, he gleaned the man's name, Alexander, and age 48. Looking farther down for Alexander's written bio, the only words that met him were, Hail Lord Tachanka. More confused than ever, Rob swiped left on the man, nay, the legend he had just seen. Shaking his head like he was awaking from a dream he couldn't quite remember, Rob eyed the next picture. What greeted him was a nondescript man with a balaclava over his face. Frowning that the man revealed nothing about himself in the image, he scanned for more information. Recruit? What kind of name is that? Rob snorted, knowing that the guy didn't even bother to list his age. All his bio said was, Please don't hate me. Groaning in disgust, Rob swiped left. People with low self-esteem were not his type, and he didn't even bother to post a face pic. Feeling the familiar sense of hopelessness creeping in on him, Rob eyed the next woman's profile. A pretty woman greeted him, looking happy in the beautiful French countryside. Twitch, right? Her name was Emmanuelle, age 28, and her bio simply read, Swipe right, I might shock you. Rob's finger hesitated. She really was a beauty, and he wanted to learn more about her, but he couldn't help feel that there was someone different out there for him. His perfect match, so he had to keep searching. His protein shake now finished, Rob made to get off the couch, swiping left on Emmanuelle on his way up. It was the next profile, however, that stopped him dead in his tracks. Before him was the most beautiful man he had ever laid eyes on. He was tall, tanned, muscular, exquisitely groomed beard, perfectly accenting his immaculately sculpted face. He stood, flexing in military fatigues. I have never been able to resist a man in uniform, Rob thought, eagerly looking more to read about the man above. His name was Craig, 33, from Bellevue, Washington. A Navy SEAL whose profile read, I'm a man who not only sets goals but accomplishes them. Not afraid to work hard and give it my all, but still enjoys the simple things in life. I haven't dated in a while, but I'm excited to get back out into the shield. Rob was awestruck. The most handsome man was not only a Navy SEAL in perfect physical condition, but a wholesome, earnest man who ending his bio with a spectacularly awful pun. What more could he say? Craig was the man of his dreams. With trembling hands, for the first time in Rob's life, he swiped right with the utmost confidence. This man was his soulmate. When the message popped up that they were a match, Rob sprung into the air. Finally, his search for love was at an end. Not even bothering to clean up after his morning shake, he rushed to his room to compose a perfect opening line for Mr. Right. For Rob, things were finally starting to look up. And that's how I became a Blackbird Main. This is last but not least.
Sure.
Entry. Number, I forgot. You can stop worrying about grenades now. Again, Jaeger theme. Oh, I guess it's because it's Jaeger themed, man. It all started when Rob saw him in master bedroom. There he was, Marius Stryker, with his aerial gunnery helmet, his balaclava, and his jeans. To put it simply, he was perfect. Screw all the people from Tinder, he wanted Jaeger. Stay clear of ADS line of fire, the German shouted. His voice was so smooth it almost tempted Rob to drop his pants then and there. Jeez, I'm not that easy.
Okay.
It wasn't the time. It wasn't the time to, though. Not yet, at least. But he needed to act now, lest Jaeger try to spawn peek and get killed. So Rob leaned against the wall, one hand on his hip as he tried to flirt. I'd be more worried about my line of fire, if you know what I mean. I'm winking, but you can't tell. It didn't take long for the P-12 to be aimed directly between his eyes. Hey, hey, Rob yelled as he defensively lifted his arms up. I'm on your side. I just thought you were cute. You what? Marius questioned, lowering the gun a bit. Rob let out the breath he was holding as he began to turn red. Yeah, just put the gun down. If you don't shoot me, I'll make it worth your while, baby. His voice had a lot of confidence despite having a gun aimed at him. A pause as neither party moved nor talked. Then Jaeger slowly holstered the gun. What's the worst could happen if he took up Rob's offer? Fine, what are you thinking of? Rob grinned and pointed between himself and Jaeger to the bed, adding an eyebrow waggle for effect, which I'm doing again, but you can't see. He was met with a dumbfounded expression. Jaeger didn't understand. Rob sighed as he explained, let's fuck. Very blunt and to the point. The two quickly took it to the bed. Clothing was soon forgotten on the floor, and ignored were the distant shouts of Mir and Rook along with the firing between enemies. Overwhelming everything outside of the room was the two moaning as they enjoyed themselves. However, a thought popped into Rob's head. He paused and asked, what if someone chucks a grenade in here? Jaeger chuckled. Oh, how Rob loved that sound. As he patted the magpie above the bed. You can stop worrying about grenades now. Rob nodded eagerly, going right back to what they had stopped. They eventually both flapped on the bed in exhaustion, looking over to grin at each other. We should do that again sometime, Jaeger said. Mind sometime when we could now, Rob smirked around too. Jaeger nodded, leaning in to kiss him again. She's like 50 Shades of Estate, or whatever that map's
50
called.
Shades of Jaeger.
Jagger. You better put this in the video.
Fucking muscle. Alright, if you want to do a little sign off, you can, and then that'll be it.
There, that was my sign off.
Amazing.